While you're reading this, a 71-year-old monk is climbing a 40-degree incline in Tibet without running shoes, without a knee brace, without a gym membership. Her hips move in a way that yours probably haven't moved in 20 years. Here's the startling fact. Research shows that Western women after 60 use only 30% of their natural hip range of motion. The rest? Atrophied by decades sitting in chairs. And when you lose hip mobility, your knees pay the price. It's not age that causes osteoarthritis. It's the limited, repetitive movement pattern of modern life. Tibetan monks don't exercise to strengthen their knees. They simply live in a way that forces the body to maintain correct biomechanical patterns every single day. This video reveals the movement they do, why it protects the joints, and how you can start rebuilding that strength today without leaving your home. Let me show you something you've probably never noticed about your own body. Right now, stand up and walk across the room. Notice how your hips move, or rather, notice how they don't move. Most American women after 60 walk from their knees down. The hips barely rotate. The pelvis stays locked. Everything happens below the waist. And that's not how the human body was designed to move. Think about your typical day. You wake up in bed, which is probably only 18 inches off the ground. You sit on a toilet that's 17 inches high. You sit in a car with a seat 19 inches up. You sit at a desk or table about 30 inches high. You sit on a couch 18 inches off the floor. You get back into bed. Your hips never went through their full range of motion. Not even close. You spent the entire day moving within a 12-inch vertical zone. Your hip joint, which is designed to flex deeply, extend fully, and rotate completely, did almost nothing. Now compare that to a Tibetan monk. She wakes up on a mat on the floor. That's a full deep squat to stand up. She walks to fetch water down a steep hill, full hip extension with every step. She climbs stone stairs to the temple, deep hip flexion. She sits cross-legged on the floor for meditation, external rotation. She carries firewood, loading the hips under resistance. Her hips move through their complete range hundreds of times per day. Yours might do it twice if you drop something and have to pick it up. And here's what happens when you don't use a joint fully. The body adapts to the limited range you give it. Muscle fibers shorten, fascia tightens, synovial fluid production decreases. The joint literally reshapes itself around the movement pattern you use most. It's like a door that only opens halfway. After years, the hinges rust in that position, the door frame warps slightly, and eventually, you can't open it fully even if you try. That's your hip after 20 years of chair sitting. There's a muscle deep in your hip called the gluteus medius. It sits on the side of your pelvis, right where you'd put your hand on your hip. Most women have never felt this muscle work in their entire lives. Its job is critical. It stabilizes your pelvis when you're standing on one leg. Every step you take, this muscle fires to keep your hip from dropping to the side. But here's the problem. When your hip range is limited, the gluteus medius doesn't have to work hard. It can stabilize a hip that barely moves while you're half asleep. But when your hip goes through full range, when you're climbing, descending, rotating, the gluteus medius has to work overtime. It has to control movement in multiple planes. It has to resist forces from different angles. And that's what makes it strong. A strong gluteus medius doesn't just stabilize the hip, it protects the knee. Here's how. When you walk or climb stairs, if your gluteus medius is weak, your femur, the thigh bone, rotates inward slightly with each step. That inward rotation changes the angle at which your kneecap tracks over your knee joint. Instead of gliding smoothly in its groove, the kneecap gets pulled slightly to one side. Over thousands of steps, this creates uneven wear on the cartilage. That's how osteoarthritis starts. Not from age, from poor hip control creating abnormal knee mechanics. Tibetan monks don't have knee problems because their hips work correctly, and their hips work correctly because their daily life demands full range of motion. You can recreate that demand. You don't need a mountain, You just need to reintroduce the movements your body forgot. I'm going to show you the simplest movement in the world, but also the most powerful. It's called a deep hip hinge, and every monk does it dozens of times a day without thinking about it. Stand with your feet hip-width apart. Put your hands on your hips so you can feel the move. Now, push your hips straight back like you're trying to close a car door with your butt. Keep your shins vertical. Don't let your knees drift forward. Let your torso fold forward naturally as your hips go back. Go as far as you can while keeping your back flat. You should feel a stretch in the back of your thighs. That's your hamstrings. You should feel your weight shift into your heels. And you should feel your hips working to control the movement. Hold that position for 3 seconds. Then drive your hips forward to stand back up. Do this 5 times. What you should feel is work in the back of your legs and glutes, a stretch in the hamstrings, stability in your ankles. What you shouldn't feel is pain in your lower back, strain in your knees, or loss of balance. Common mistakes: letting your knees cave inward instead of tracking over your toes, rounding your back instead of hinging at the hips, shifting your weight onto your toes instead of keeping it in your heels, going too fast instead of controlling the descent. If you can't hinge back very far, that's okay. That just shows how tight your hips have become. Don't force it. Go to whatever depth feels like a good stretch, hold it there, and over time, your range will increase. The monks aren't more flexible than you by genetics. They're more flexible because they move through full range every single day. You can build that same flexibility. It just takes consistency. Once you've practiced the hip hinge for a few days, add the deep squat hold. Not a gym squat with a barbell. A natural squat humans have been doing for 200,000 years. Stand with your feet slightly wider than hip width. Toes turned out about 15 degrees. Lower yourself into a full squat, as deep as you can go. Keep your heels on the ground. Let your torso lean forward slightly to balance. Hold for 30 seconds. This will feel uncomfortable. Your ankles might be tight. Your hips might complain. That's normal. You're asking joints to do something they haven't done in decades. If you can't squat all the way down, hold on to a door frame. Use your arms to support some weight. The goal isn't perfection immediately. The goal is teaching your hips that this range of motion exists. Monks squat to rest, to cook, to talk to children. They spend hours daily in this position. You just need 30 seconds once a day. After a week, add movement. Rock gently side to side, shifting weight from foot to foot. This mobilizes the hip joint, lubricates the joint capsule, wakes up dormant proprioceptors. Make this part of your morning: 5 hip hinges and 1 30-second squat hold. 2 minutes every single day. Monks don't have workout schedules. They just move correctly as part of living. Here's what physical therapists often miss. They focus on the knee. They give you quad exercises, leg extensions, resistance bands. Those can help. But they're treating the symptom, not the cause. Knee pain after 60 isn't usually a knee problem. It's a hip problem showing up in the knee. When your hips don't move through full range, when your gluteus medius is weak, when hip flexors are tight from decades of sitting, your knees compensate. They take on stress they weren't designed to handle. Strengthening quads without fixing hip mechanics is like replacing tires on a car with bad alignment. The new tires help briefly, but they'll wear wrong too because the underlying problem remains. Here's the cycle keeping American women in pain. Mild knee discomfort appears, so you avoid stairs. Avoiding stairs weakens your gluteus medius further. Weakening worsens knee mechanics. Pain increases. You protect the knee more, move less. Muscles weaken more. Pain becomes chronic. Eventually you can't walk a block comfortably. It started because you stopped moving your hips through full range. It continues because every intervention focused on the knee instead of the hip. Here's your 30-day plan. Week 1, 5 morning hip hinges, 5 afternoon chair stands without hands, 15-second evening squat hold. Week 2, 8 hip hinges with 3-second pauses, slower chair stands, 20-second squat with side-to-side rocking. Week 3, 10 hip hinges, add 5 step-ups per leg, 20-second deeper squat. Week 4. 12 hip hinges holding the last one for 10 seconds. 8 step-ups per leg. 30-second squat. Weekly hill walking. This isn't magic. It's biological adaptation. Be patient. Be consistent. This won't reverse severe arthritis or regenerate destroyed cartilage. It rebuilds muscular support around hips and knees, which usually eliminates pain and restores function. See a doctor if you experience sharp worsening pain, swelling lasting 48+ hours, knee locking, or sudden mobility loss. Good signs: muscle soreness, glute fatigue, easier daily activities. Don't confuse pain with effort. Productive discomfort is burning, stretching, fatigue. Harmful pain is sharp, shooting, causes limping. Push through the first. Stop with the second. 100 years ago, American women didn't need gyms. Daily life demanded correct movement. Tibetan monks at 76 don't exercise for healthy knees. They live in ways that maintain them. You don't need a monastery. Just give your body back movements modern convenience took away. Full hip range, deep flexion, complete extension, foundational human patterns. Your body was designed for them. It still can do them. It just forgot how. That memory is inside you. Now, wake it up.